guys, so for this tutorial I'll be using my yarn, and this is from a brand called Alize Motif. You can use a weight 4 yarn or a spot weight yarn depending on how light or how thick you want the cardigan to be, but I'll be using this Alize Motif and it's a weight 4 yarn. Also, I'll be using two hooks, sorry, which is my 3.5mm hook and my 4mm hook. I'll be using my scissors and my stitch markers, and then I'll be using buttons. So this is the size of the button I'm going to be using. Although I don't have more of this, I'm definitely going to take this to the store to make sure they have to see if they have exactly this button, and hopefully if they have it, I'll be using this button, or I will get a different button. But this is the size of the button I'm definitely going to be using. You can use a smaller button or a bigger button, or you can even use zips depending on how you want the cardigan to be. And I'm sorry for the noise that's going on outside. So to get started, I'm going to start by making the collar, and then we'll work on the main part of the cardigan. So for the collar, I'm going to start by making a chain of 70, and this is the width I want for my collar. So you can make your collar wider or narrow depending on the width you want for the collar. I have a total of 70 chains, and this is about 18 inches when stretched. So this is the size of the width of my collar. Like I said, you can make your collar wider or narrower depending on how wide you want your collar to be. So I'm okay with the length I have. Now for the first row, I'm going to start by chaining 1, go into each stitch with 1 double crochet. So you're just going to put 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to the end of the row. So I've come to the end of the first row. For the second row, you're going to start by chaining 1, turn over. In the first stitch, go in with 1 double crochet. Now you're going to start working with the post stitch. So yarn over and go into the front post with 1 double crochet. Go into the back post with a double crochet. Go into the front post with 1 double crochet, and then the back post with 1 double crochet. Front post with a double crochet, back post with 1 double crochet. So you're alternating between the front post and the back post till you get to the end of the row. So I've come to the end of the second row. For the third row, chain 1, turn over. In the first stitch, go in with 1 double crochet. Now you have a front post, go into the front post of the next stitch with 1 double crochet. Go into the back post with 1 double crochet, and then the front post with 1 double crochet. So you're just repeating what you did for row 2. You're alternating between the front post and the back post till you get to the end of the row. Now this is what you're going to do for the collar of the sweater or the cardigan. You're just going back and forth with 1 double crochet in the front post and the back post. So I'm going to do this till I have the length I want for my collar, and then we'll work on the main body of the cardigan. gotten the length I want for my collar, and I did a total of 12 rows of the first stitch. So I've gotten the length I want for my collar, and I did a total of 12 rows of the first stitch. So my collar is about 4 inches. So if you want the collar to be longer, you can do more rows depending on the length you want for the collar of the cardigan. Now what you're going to do next is we're going to start working on the main body of the cardigan. So for that, what I did was I counted 12 stitches away from this end, and then I put my stitch marker on the 13th stitch. I counted another 12 stitches and put my stitch marker on the 13th stitch. Then I repeated the same for this end. So I counted 12 stitches, my stitch marker is on the 13th stitch. From this point I counted 12 stitches, my stitch marker is on the 13th stitch. So between these two stitch markers I have a total of 18 stitches. So if you calculate it, it's going to be 70 stitches in total, because you have 26 plus 26, which is 52, plus the 18 stitches between the two stitch markers, making it 70. So now I'm just going to work on the main body of the cardigan, and I'll be switching my hook to a 4mm hook. So I already chained one. Now turn over, put one double crochet in the first stitch, go into the next stitch with one double crochet, and the next stitch with one double crochet. So you just put in one double crochet in each stitch till you get to where the stitch marker is. So now I've gotten to where my stitch marker is. I'm just going to remove it so it doesn't disturb me. In the 13th stitch where I just removed the stitch marker, go in with one double crochet. Now chain 2 and go back into the same stitch with one double crochet. Continue with one double crochet in the rest of the stitches till you get to your next stitch marker. So I've gotten to the next stitch marker, just remove it. In the stitch where you remove the stitch marker, go in with one double crochet, chain 2 and go back into the same stitch with one double crochet. Continue with one double crochet in the rest of the stitches. So when you get to the next stitch marker, go in with one double crochet, chain 2 and go back into the same stitch with one double crochet. Okay, so I've come to the end of the 13th row. For the 14th row, start by chaining 1, put one double crochet in each stitch. Okay, so I've gotten to where my chain 2 space is. In the double crochet stitch before the chain 2, go in with one double crochet, which I already did. In this chain 2 space, go in with one double crochet, chain 2, go back into the same stitch, the same chain 2 space with one double crochet. Now continue with one double crochet in each stitch till you get to the next chain 2 space. Okay, so now I've come to the next chain 2 space, go in with one double crochet, chain 2 and go back into the same chain 2 space with 1 double crochet. Now you're just going to continue with 1 double crochet to get to the next chain 2 space, and then you're going to go in with 1 double crochet, chain 2 and go back into the same stitch with 1 double crochet. Okay, so I've come to the end of the 14th row. From the 15th row, you're going to repeat what you did for the 14th row. So chain 1, put 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to the chain 2 space. Okay, so I've come to my chain 2 space, go in with 1 double crochet, chain 2 and go back in with 1 double crochet. Continue with 1 double crochet till you get to the next chain 2 space. And you chain 2 space, go in with 1 double crochet, chain 2 and go back in with 1 double crochet. So from this point you're just going to be repeating this. I'll do this till I have the length I want, and then we'll work on the main part of the cardigan. But for now, just keep on repeating this. So each time you get to the chain 2 space, go in with 1 double crochet, chain 2 and go back in with 1 double crochet. So when you get to the chain 2 space, just repeat that, and I'll do this for a few more rows. I'll let you know how many rows I end up doing. So I did a total of 22 rows minus the collar. In total I have 34 rows, so I have 12 rows for the collar of the cardigan plus 22 rows, making it 34 rows. Now what you're going to do is you want to separate the arm from the main body of the sweater or the cardigan. So for that, you're going to attach your yarn in this chain 2 space and make a chain of 22 or 24, depending on how wide you want the armhole to be. But I did a total of 22 chains, and then attach the chain to the chain 2 space at the back. Then I repeated the same for this end. So I just attached my yarn, made a total of 22 chains and attached it to the chain 2 space at the back. So now I'm going to start by working on the body of the cardigan before we work on the arm. So for that, you're going to attach your yarn at this end or this end, depending on whichever end you want to attach your yarn, but just make sure you're attaching your yarn at one end. Chain 1, which I already did. Now work 1 double crochet in each stitch. Just put 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to the chain stitch. Now I've come to the chain stitch. Go into each of the chain stitch with 1 double crochet. So just work in 1 double crochet in each of the chain stitch till you get to the end of the chain. Now you're going to work 1 double crochet all the way. When you get to the end of the chain, you're going to continue with 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to the second chain, and just work in 1 double crochet in each of the chain stitch till you get to this end. So you're not doing any increase, you're just doing 1 double crochet in each stitch to get to the end of the row. Okay, so I've come to the end of the 35th row. Chain 1, turn over. Now just continue with 1 double crochet in each stitch. So from this point, you're just going to be working 1 double crochet in each stitch back and forth till you have the length you want for your cardigan. So just put in 1 double crochet in each stitch. Now you're working from this point all the way down to this other end, and you're going to do this till you have the length you want. I'll let you know how many rows I end up doing, but for now just keep on working 1 double crochet back and forth between the two ends. So I'm done with the length, and I did a total of 40 rows for the main body of the sweater. So now I'm done with the length I want, and I'm okay with the length, and I did a total of 40 rows of double crochet. So you can make it longer or shorter, but from this point where we marked up the main body and the arm all the way down, I have a total of 40 rows. Like I said, you can make it longer or shorter depending on the length you want for the cardigan. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the sleeve. So I worked on one sleeve to be sure of how it was going to turn out. I'm just going to show you what I did on this second sleeve. So for that, you're going to attach your yarn to any end, but I'm going to attach my yarn underneath just so that the seam is not going to show and it's just underneath the arm. So once you've attached your yarn, start by chaining 1 and put 1 double crochet in each stitch. Now you're just going to go around the armhole with 1 double crochet. So working on the sleeve is pretty much the same as working on the body of the cardigan. You're going around the armhole with 1 double crochet, and you're going to do this till you have the length you want. You're not doing any increase, no decrease, just 1 double crochet in each stitch till you have the length you want, and then I'll show you how to work on the cuff of the sleeve. But for now, just keep on going around the armhole with 1 double crochet in each stitch. So I did a total of 25 rows of double crochet for the sleeves. Now I'm just going to do the cuff of the sleeve, and for that I'll be using my size 3mm hook for the cuff. So what I'm going to do now is start by chaining 1, which I already did. Now you're going to go into the 2 front posts of these 2 stitches with 1 double crochet. So because you're trying to decrease the amount of stitches you have, so the cuff is going to cinch in, you're going to be crocheting 2 stitches together. So now since I have a front post, yarn over and go into the back post of the next 2 stitches. Go into the front post of the next 2 stitches with a double crochet. Go into the back post of the next 2 stitches with 1 double crochet. So you're just going to repeat this till you're done going around the armhole, sorry, the sleeve hole. So you're just crocheting 2 stitches together, like I said, alternating between the front post and the back post. Now I've come to the end of the row. I'm just going to slip stitch to close up the round. Chain 1. Now you're going to yarn over and go into these 2 front posts that you joined together with 1 double crochet. Go into the 2 front posts behind with 1 double crochet. going to the front post and front with 1 double crochet. So you're going to see where you're going to be working in your post stitch. So this is behind, meaning is a back post, so go in with 1 double crochet, yarn over, go into the front post with 1 double crochet, then go into the back post with 1 double crochet. So from this point you're just going to keep on alternating with 1 front post and 1 back post till you have the length you want for the cuff, and I'll let you know how many rows I end up doing, but just keep on alternating between the front post and the back post. Now I'm done making the cuffs of both sleeves, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the buttonholes, which you can skip if you don't want to put button on the cardigan, but I actually want to put buttons on the cardigan, so I'm going to work on the buttonholes. So what I did was I just went into each stitch with 1 single crochet, and I have a total of 115 single crochets. You might have more, you might have less, depending on how you want to space the single crochets, but I have a total of 115 single crochets from this end all the way to this end. So I didn't work on the collar, I'm just going to leave the collar out of it. My buttonhole is going to be starting from the point after the collar. So now that I have my single crochets, I'm just going to add 1 more single crochet just to space it. Now you're going to start by chaining 1. In this first stitch, go in with 1 single crochet. So the buttonhole depends on the size of the button you're going to be using, and this is the size I'm going to be using. So I'm going to try and make sure the hole I make is wide enough so that my button can pass through. So I'm just going to start by making a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and go into the 4th stitch with 1 single crochet. So I need to be sure this can pass without having to, so yeah, the button can pass through the buttonhole. Now I'm just going to work 1 single crochet in the next 15 stitches. So I just have 5 buttons, meaning I'm going to try and space it so that the button is evenly placed. So from this point I'm counting 15 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 'So I've worked into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 15. Now I'm going to make my next buttonhole. So I'm just going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and put a single crochet in the 4th stitch. Now continue with 1 double crochet and 1 single crochet, sorry, in the next 15 rows. So you're just going to do this till you've come to the end, and then I'm going to show you what to do next. So like I said, your buttonholes, the buttonholes depend on the size of the button you're using. So you can make it smaller or bigger depending on your button size. So I'm fine with the size I picked for the buttonhole because it can fit the button perfectly well. So I'm just going to continue with this till I get to the end of the row. So I'm done with the cardigan, and for the buttonhole I just did 5 buttonholes because I have a total of 5 buttons. Now for this side, I went back and forth with one single crochet in each stitch. There was no need to do a buttonhole for this side since this is where the buttons are going to be. Now for the buttons, instead of attaching the button on this single crochet, I decided to take it inside. So I counted 4 stitches away from the single crochet and then I attached my buttons. The main reason I did this is because I wanted this panel to overlap when I button it, and so that it doesn't, like when I put it on this end, it might have like holes in between, and I didn't want that. So I decided to push the button inward so that this is going to overlap when I wear the cardigan. So you can skip this and just put the button closer depending on how you want the cardigan to be, but like I said, I wanted this panel to overlap on this, and that is why I pushed the button in. So I counted 4 stitches like I said and just put my button on the 4th stitch. And then I made a long strap and just strapped the waist of the cardigan, which you can also skip, but I decided to just add this so it can, in case I want to wear it, I can style the cardigan anywhere I want with the strap. But you can skip the strap if you want, or you can attach the strap depending on whichever one you prefer. And there's no particular place to put the strap, I just put it slightly underneath my bust. And that's it for this tutorial. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video. Also, if there's anything you don't understand or you're confused, you can leave a comment down in the comment section and I'm definitely going to explain better to you. Please don't forget to subscribe once again. I'll see you guys in my next video.